Back at the Republican convention in Philadelphia, just about everybody, including Democrats, agrees that Dick Cheney is a good and decent man with a terrific resume, basically as a longtime Washington insider. However, there are beginning to be some questions asked among some Republicans privately about how strong a campaigner he is. Bob Schieffer developed this story and has more about it now. Bob?
Well, Dan, I think what you're going to see here tonight, depending on how he delivers this speech, because the test of a speech is how it is delivered and how it's received. But the speech we're going to hear tonight is something unlike you've ever heard Dick Cheney talk about. It is much more political than the usual speech. Those who remember him as Secretary of Defense talking about weighty world matters and all of that, you're not going to see that tonight. You're going to see a cleverly written speech in which he really needles the Clinton-Gore administration. And he's going to make every effort tonight to tie Al Gore to Bill Clinton. So this will be a different Dick Cheney, I think, than anybody in America has seen, except perhaps those who saw him campaign when he ran for Congress way back in those years in Wyoming. Wyoming people may know the Dick Cheney we're going to hear tonight, and maybe they've heard a speech like this, but I don't think anybody else in America has heard quite Dick Cheney in quite the way you're going to hear him tonight.
As Bob reported on this evening's CBS Evening News, just some of the Republicans are beginning to say, well, look, I like the guy, but he needs to pick up the pace. He's campaigning. Apparently, that's what he's going to try to do here in just a few minutes. Well, Borgia, there's always a sort of pep rally feel to these conventions.
Yeah, but I think before this moment right now, it seemed as if these Republicans were at a pep rally, only they weren't allowed to mention the other team that they're fighting against. And so finally tonight, from what we've heard, we're going to get a speech in which Dick Cheney is going to mention the team that they want to beat. And I think that that these convention goers are going to be really ready for this kind of a speech.
Gloria Borgia. Next, Dick Cheney is going to be addressing this convention in a few moments, introduced by his wife. And here he is. Dick Cheney, like George Bush, went to Yale. Unlike George Bush, he did not graduate from Yale. He went for a year and then dropped out. Later, picked up his education, did everything but the dissertation for a PhD. Former President George Bush, who's been very much in evidence here, along with Barbara Bush, the last several nights at the convention. Cheney got his start as a behind-the-scenes Washington politician, working for a then young Congressman Don Rumsfeld. When Rumsfeld moved to the White House to work in the Richard Nixon White House, he, in effect, brought Dick Cheney along with him. Cheney later became Chief of White House Staff under the now ailing President Gerald Ford. He ran for Congress, served in the Congress for roughly a decade, then was chosen by George Bush the Elder to be George Bush's Secretary of Defense. Cheney was born January 30th, 1941. He suffered 3 heart attacks, 1978, 1984, and 1988, and had bypass surgery in 1988.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, delegates and fellow citizens, I am honored by your nomination and I accept it. Before proceeding, I want to say a special word to President Ford. I wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for him and the trust and confidence he placed in me 25 years ago. And I know all of you want to join me in wishing him a very quick and speedy recovery. I want to thank you for giving such a warm welcome to Lynn and me and to our family. And to my friends in the Wyoming delegation, I especially want to thank you for your support. The first campaign stop that Lynn and I were privileged to make with Governor and Laura Bush was in our hometown of Casper, Wyoming, where Lynn and I graduated from high school some 41 years ago. The love and support and enthusiasm of the people of our home state have buoyed our spirits and strengthened our resolve. We are going to win this election. We will prevail. I have to tell you that I never expected to be in this position. 8 years ago, when I completed my service as Secretary of Defense, I loaded a U-Haul truck and drove home to Wyoming. I did not plan to return to public office. Lynn and I settled into a new private life. There was time for fishing and grandchildren, and we were very content. But now I am glad to be back in the arena, and I want to tell you why. I have been given an opportunity to serve beside a man who has the courage and the vision and the goodness to be a great president. Governor George W. Bush. I have been in the company of leaders. I was there on August 9th, 1974, when Gerald Ford assumed the presidency during the gravest constitutional crisis since the Civil War. I saw how character and decency can dignify a great office and unite a great nation. I was a congressman when another man of integrity lived in the White House. I saw a president restore America's confidence and prepare the foundation for victory in the Cold War. I saw how one man's will can set a nation on a new course. And I learned the meaning of leadership from President Ronald Reagan. I left Congress to join the cabinet of President Reagan's successor. And I'm proud to say that I'm not the only man on this ticket who has learned from the example of President George Bush. I saw resolve in times of crisis, the steady hand that shaped an alliance and threw back a tyrant. He earned the respect and confidence of the men and women of America's armed forces. I have been in the company of leaders. I know what it takes, and I see in our nominee the qualities of mind and spirit our nation needs and our history demands. Big changes are coming to Washington. To serve with this man in this cause is a chance I would not miss. This country has given us so much opportunity. When Len and I were growing up, we had so many blessings. We went to good public schools. We had fine, dedicated teachers. Our mothers, like our fathers, worked outside the home so we could go to college. We lived in a caring community where parents were confident that their children's lives could be even better than their own. And that is as it should be and as it can be again. We can make our public schools better. We can reform the tax code so that families can keep more of what they earn, more dollars that they can spend on what they value than on what the government thinks is important. We can restore the ideals of honesty and honor that must be a part of our national life if our children are to thrive. When I look at the administration now in Washington, I am dismayed by the opportunities squandered, saddened by what might have been but never was. These have been years of prosperity in our land, but little purpose in the White House. Bill Clinton vowed not long ago to hold on to power until the last hour of the last day. That is his right. But my friends, that last hour is coming. That last day is near. The wheel has turned, and it is time. It is time for them to go.
Gore said it's time for them to go 8 times in his 1992 vice presidential acceptance speech in New York's Madison Square Garden. And what this demonstration is about is on cue, cheering to underscore that Cheney is now turning that around on Clinton and Gore. They are shouting, it's time for them to go. This is the pep rally aspect of the television show production here. Written into Cheney's speech, it's time for them to go. In his own low-key manner, he delivered the line effectively. Cheering starts and the chant picks up, it's time for them to go. You'll hear it again before this is over, I'm willing to bet.
George W. Bush will repair what has been damaged. He's a man without pretense, without cynicism, a man of principle, a man of honor. On the first hour of the first day, he will restore decency and integrity to the Oval Office. He will show us that national leaders can be true to their word and that they can get things done by reaching across the aisle and working with political opponents in good faith and common purpose. I know he will do these things because for the last 5 years I've watched him do them in Texas. George W. Bush came to the governor's office with a clear view of what he wanted to achieve. He said he would bring higher standards to public schools, and he has. Walk into those schools today, and you will see children with better scores, classrooms with better discipline, teachers with better pay. He pledged to reduce taxes, and he has. He did it twice with the biggest tax reduction in state history. And not only is the budget in balance, it's running a surplus of more than $1 billion. He promised to reform the legal system, to get rid of junk lawsuits, and he has. Today, the legal system serves all the people, not just the trial lawyers. None of these reforms came easily. When he took office, both houses of the legislature were controlled by Democrats, and the House of Representatives still is. But Governor Bush does not accept old lines of argument and division. He brings people together, reaching across party lines to do the people's business. He leads by conviction, not calculation. You will never see him pointing the finger of blame for failure. You will only see him sharing the credit for success. That is exactly the spirit that is missing from Washington today. In the last 8 years, that city has often become a scene of bitterness and ill will and partisan strife. American politics has always been a tough business. Even in 1787, here in Philadelphia, when George Washington himself wondered if delegates could ever agree on a constitution. They did agree, as Americans always have when it mattered most, guided by the public interest and a decent regard for one another. But in Washington today, politics has become war by other means, an endless onslaught of accusation, a constant setting of groups one against another. This is what Bill Bradley was up against, and others before him. The Gore campaign, Senator Bradley said, is 1,000 promises, 1,000 attacks. We are all a little weary of the Clinton-Gore routine. But the wheel has turned, and it is time. It is time for them to go.
You may want to note that Cheney is referring to Clinton-Gore, not Clinton and Gore, in effect making Clinton Al Gore's first name, Clinton-Gore.
In this election, they will speak endlessly of risk. We will speak of progress. They will make accusations. We will make proposals. They will feed fear, and we will appeal to hope. They will offer more lectures and legalisms and carefully worded denials. We offer another way, a better way, and a stiff dose of truth. For 8 years, the achievement gap in our schools has grown worse, poor and disadvantaged children falling further and further behind. For all of their sentimental talk about children, Clinton and Gore have done nothing to help children oppressed by bureaucracy, monopoly, and mediocrity. But those days are ending. When George W. Bush is president and I am vice president, tests will be taken. Results will be measured, schools will answer to parents, and no child will be left behind. Years, Clinton and Gore have talked about social reform, Social Security reform, never acting, never once offering a serious plan to save the system. In the time left to them, I have every confidence they'll go right on talking about it. Those days are passing too. There will be no more spreading of fear and panic, no more dividing of generations against one another, nor more delaying and excuse-making and shirking of our duties to the elderly. George W. Bush and I, with the United Congress, will save Social Security. For 8 years, Clinton and Gore have extended our military commitments while depleting our military power. Rarely has so much been demanded of our armed forces and so little given to them in return. George W. Bush and I are going to change that too. I have seen our military at its finest, with the best equipment, the best training, and the best leadership. I am proud of them. I have had the responsibility for their well-being, and I can promise them now, help is on the way.
Shouters all the way, all the way, all the way. This particular demonstration is designed to set up the next line in the speech.
Soon our men and women in uniform will once again have a commander-in-chief they can respect. A commander-in-chief who understands their mission and restores their morale. And now, as the man from Hope goes home to New York, Mr. Gore will try to separate himself from his leader's shadow. But somehow, we will never see one without thinking of the other. Does anyone, Republican or Democrat, seriously believe that under Mr. Gore, the next 4 years would be any different from the last 8? If the goal is to unite our country, to make a fresh start in Washington, to change the tone of our politics, can anyone with conviction say that the man for that job is Al Gore? They came in together. Now let us see them off together. Ladies and gentlemen, the wheel has turned, and it is time for them to go.
The pep rally cheer is time to go, and they must go.
This campaign will not be easy. Governor Bush and I face a real fight. We're ready for it. We know the territory, we know the opposition, and we know what's at stake. We will give all we have to this cause. And in the end, with your help, George W. Bush will defeat this vice president, and I will replace him. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so privileged to be citizens of this great republic. I was reminded of that time and again when I was in my former job as Secretary of Defense. I traveled a lot, and when I came home, my plane would land at Andrews Air Force Base, and I'd return to the Pentagon by helicopter. When you make that trip from Andrews to the Pentagon and you look down on the city of Washington, one of the first things you see is the Capitol, where all the great debates that have shaped 200 years of American history have taken place. You fly down along the Mall and see the monument to George Washington, a structure as grand as the man himself. To the north is the White House, where John Adams once prayed that none but honest and wise men may ever rule under this roof. Next, you see the memorial to Thomas Jefferson, our third president and the author of our Declaration of Independence.
You're watching special CBS News coverage
Then
of
you
the
fly
Republican
over the
National
memorial
Convention.
to
Some
Abraham
stations now will return to regularly scheduled programs. Some of you will be joining your local news. For the rest of you, our CBS News
on approach
coverage
to the
continues.
Pentagon. But just before you settle down on the landing pad, you look out upon Arlington National Cemetery. Its gentle slopes and crosses row on row. I never once made that trip without being reminded how enormously fortunate we all are to be Americans. And what a I never made that trip without being reminded of how enormously fortunate we are to be Americans, and what a terrible price thousands have paid so that all of us and millions more around the world might live in freedom. This is a great country, ladies and gentlemen, and it deserves great leadership. Let us go forth from this hall in confidence and courage, committed to restoring decency and honor to our republic. Let us go forth knowing that our cause is just, and elect George W. Bush, the 43rd President of the United States.
And so Dick Cheney, the Republican vice presidential nominee, stands and delivers. And from the standpoint of what George Bush hoped he would accomplish tonight, delivers well. This was a speech as much against President Bill Clinton as against Al Gore, who's running for president this time. Dick Cheney, in a metaphor that he, as a former Secretary of Defense, might use, delivered a stealth kind of attack, stealth bomber kind of attack, in under the radar, quietly but hitting hard at Clinton Gore, as he so often referred to it. The themes are the themes of restoration. The restoration of what was, the son, to lead the restoration of a father who once was the leader. If you want to read more about it, you might consult Shakespeare, Henry IV, Prince Hal, the son who was to restore what was once his father's. Morality, leadership, and respect to the Oval Office is one of the underlying themes here. And so Dick Cheney has had his say. Tomorrow is George W. Bush's night in the spotlight. CBS News coverage of the Republican National Convention will continue first thing tomorrow on the early show, and then tomorrow evening on the CBS Evening News. And then tomorrow night, live coverage of the Bush acceptance speech begins at 9 Eastern Time, 8 Central. That would be 6 in the West tomorrow night for the Bush speech. For now, Dan Rather, reporting from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Good night.